My son went to Florida, came back with necklaces for his sisters, came back with this like wax sculpted like love sign for his mom, knows his dad well, a beach coffee cup. Good morning, Sarah. Morning, Terry. Vera. Cindy, Lori. Oh, friends. Good morning, Dale and Roylene. Jim. It's a cool morning, but it's like a perfect morning. It's unbelievable. Michael, good to see you. Mary, guys. So here's the deal. All right. I'm just going to let the cat out of the bag now because I can't handle any more excitement. Technically, today is 2 years since my family pulled into the city of Lincoln with a Suburban just full of clothes and all kinds of different things. The rest of our stuff wouldn't make it up here in a couple of weeks. And we have been asked often, when did or has Lincoln become home? I don't know if it ever wasn't home. Like, it has just genuinely felt that way since the moment that we visited. I remember, a lot of people don't know this story, but the first night that we came as part of our visit in June 2019, is we got up to the hotel that night, and Lynn said we'd gone to dinner with some First Free folks and some of the pastors and staff and selection committee, and Lynn said, well, what do you think? And I said, babe, this is it. This is home. We hugged and we jumped up and down, and then we thought, how do we not mess this up? I still feel that way a lot, a whole lot. And here's what's crazy is, as I want to spend some time today, and I encourage you to do the same from time to time. We're really prone towards performing and towards moving forward and towards looking to the future, but we don't take a lot of time to reflect, especially in positive ways. We don't take a lot of time to celebrate. Like, I don't know if you know this, it's okay to have a party other than your birthday, other than Christmas, and other than opening day of Husker season, right? For some of you, deer season. But, to take time to look back and reflect, and, 2 years ago, even in this short amount of time, what I thought and what's happened are a lot of ways so different, but yet so good and so rich. There's so many things that I anticipated happening or that we would do that just haven't come to reality, haven't been manifest, but in turn, so many other things have just flourished. And God has just done some amazing work internally that I didn't know needed to be done in my own life. And in that, it's amazing to hear and see people who've been praying for us for longer than we've even been here. That we've been able to be united in community. And this past weekend, I got to walk around the lobby and just hang out and hug some people and spend some time together, and got asked a couple times, why am I out of the pulpit? Why am I not preaching? And, part of it's just a rhythm. Part of it is just an unbelievable teaching team that we have. And part of it is just taking time to reflect and go, man, what's God done in the past 2 years? Turned out I was tireder than I thought I was. And now actually I'm like itching. Like, I'm going to let Brian preach this weekend, but I'm kind of like, man, I hope he doesn't trip going up the stage because I may run up there in front of him. But in that, it's not because I love what God's done in my life, and I love that he's done it despite me and contrary to my plans. And I posted this quote this morning, but Mary Oliver asked this question, what are you going to do with this one precious, wonderful life you've been given? This wild life. It talks over and over again about God's creating us, he's molding us into something more, that we are his workmanship. And in that, I think I'm far too prone to try to figure out what he's making me into rather than just enjoying the process of being made. It says in Psalm 100 that we are his people in his pasture. And I think about that, and I just think about it, it's almost like God's taking care of all the details. Why do I need to worry about them? Why do I need to worry about how I'm growing rather than just rejoicing that I'm growing? Why do I have to worry about what's next rather than just sitting and enjoying what's today? What's in front of me right now? Because how many of you predicted a pandemic? Maybe Scott Holmes, right? Other than that, we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen this school year. We don't know what it's going to look like at Christmas time. We don't know what next summer is going to be. We don't know all those different things. But here's what we do know is that the sun rose today that Jesus is on the throne, that he's interceding for us, the Spirit of God lives in us, that God the Father is at work planning and orchestrating, and that we get to just play in the yard. We get to jump on the tramp, we get to swing on the swing, we get to pull out some weeds every now and then. But we're his people, and this is his pasture. So when you look at your life, what is it that you should be celebrating today? Maybe there's someone you should be celebrating. Maybe there's somebody you can reach out to and say, hey, I don't know if you even know how this impacted me or what this felt like. Yesterday, I don't want to embarrass them, but we had an individual show up at the park, and I'd mentioned Lynn and I were going on a picnic and just dropped off 2 of our favorite snacks. And I immediately got on a phone call yesterday afternoon with my pastor coach and talking to my mentor, and he said, how are you feeling about developing friendships? And I told him the story, and I just explained to him we didn't talk about church, we didn't talk about programs, we didn't talk about what's next, we didn't talk about anything. But I just felt loved. So who's somebody that you can love on today? And maybe how can you receive love today, even if that's just from God? What are you going to use, and how are you going to use this one precious, wild, crazy life God's given you? God, thank you so much. As we talked about a few days ago, your plans can't be thwarted. We know you're powerful. We know you're omniscient. We know that you're at work. We know that you have plans beyond our minds and beyond our imaginations. And yet at the same time, God, we also know you're personal. That you're patient, and that you're present. And so, Father, I pray that we wouldn't be so strangled by our past, so paralyzed by the future, but rather you would help us to be peaceful in the present, to have your perspective, to rejoice in how you're working and what you're doing. God, I read in the Gospels and I just see Jesus constantly at parties, at festivals, at feasts that you've ordained. I think about the story of the prodigal God and the father that throws a party for his son coming home. I think about the angels rejoicing. I think about the celebration that took place, and God, I pray that we would celebrate. Little by little, moment by moment, day by day. God, I pray for this weekend, that Sunday wouldn't just be Sunday, that it would be a celebration of your love, grace, mercy, and all for your glory. And it's in your Son's name I pray. Amen. Guys, so excited tonight. Some putt-putt for our J247 and high school crowd. Our student leaders are going to be out. So grateful for them. So excited for them to go hang out, to have some fun tonight. Bring $5. That way you can get in, and also bring a little extra money for some snacks, some treats, some candy, things like that. And so we had a lot of fun things going on this weekend. Again, some of you have reached out. We just want to encourage you. This weekend is a weekend that we're going to be doing baptisms. We do them as often as we possibly can because we hope God's at work saving people as often as we hope he is. And so with that, if you're interested in that, shoot me a message. We'd love to talk. Love you guys. Praying for you. Pray for me.